This is Professor Sensei.
It's your host, Desla.
Hey guys, this is Billy.
This is Saxophone.
Hey yo, this is Obsto.
This is Glow.
This is Crimstronic.
Hey guys, this is ZVG.
Hey, this is A-Town, and you're listening to the Rising Rush Podcast. All right, welcome to the Rising Rush Podcast, where we talk everything Dragon Ball Legends related, such as news, meta, hot takes, you name it. I am your host, A-Town, alongside our co-hosts, Obsto, Desla, and Glow. And we're going to kick things off with the news and updates for the weekly reset as of the 10th of July. First things first, we got the more anniversary Chrono Crystal sales that have popped up. That's going to be going on till the 26th of July. The survey for the 6th anniversary is now available. So, go ahead and drop your opinions of what you guys feel of this overall anniversary. Do you think you guys hit it on the mark? You think it was hot trash? That survey is going to be available through the 22nd of July. The Ultra Rising Unparalleled Super Fusion featuring the Super Saiyan 4 Ultra Gogeta, that is now live, and that's going to be live through the 26th of July. We'll talk more about that unit, its overall kit. Part 1 banners, they do change as of the 17th of July, so giving a heads up if you're still trying to cop the Super Saiyan Vegito or the Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. You have up until the 17th before the 20 or times 2 goes down to the 600 Z power. Change Time Exchange Shop, that expires on the 16th of July. So if you've got any of the lucky numbers like I did, definitely exchange your tickets to get your rewards. PvP has also reset with brand new equipment for Chi T. There's also the Equipment Ultra Upgrade Bonanza. That's live through the 17th of July. Might be a scammer now, I don't know. I usually don't get that much luck. Co-op has also reset with a GT Plat equipment. The Anniversary Choice Battle is also back through the 20th of July. We got also another new Platinum equip for Fusion Purple units. That is also available in the unique battle section there. Legends Battle Royale, that starts as of the 12th of July through the 19th of July. And the featured tag is Super Warrior, so get your fusion teams ready to go. The Nonstop Raid, final raid drops as of the 12th of July, which is tomorrow. And we'll be able to go in with the featured units to collect things from the exchange shop. So that is all for the news and updates for this week. Let's go ahead and talk about the final part 3 reveals and stuff on what they dropped. So it looks like they just straight dropped a banger with the Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I know a lot of people were speculating it would be 2 Ultras, but it looks like we're just getting 1, which thank goodness. I mean, summoning for 2 units at 0.25 drop rate would have been horrendous. But what do you guys think of the overall like value and the surprise from the part 3 reveals and stuff? We'll start off with you, Desla. What do you think about the overall reveal? Did you watch it?
Yeah. I mean, overall, I thought the way they presented it, starting out with the whole like racing and shit, I thought was pretty cool. And then transitioning from that into the immediate reveal of Gogeta, I thought was pretty cool, since it was just no nonsense, straight to business and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Saw a lot of people complaining about how they were that's it. And I'm like,
what do you mean
else
that's
did you
it?
expect, bro? It's an ultra reveal, man. I don't really know what else there really was to have shown off there, but whatever. But I don't know, because I mean, I think it's fair to want to expect to them to hype up something to that extent if it's a fusion ultra.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing as how it got top grossing in JP, which is not easy to do.
Not easy at all.
It worked. So there you go. No, overall, I definitely was a big fan of it. Definitely a unique way to do it. So far, they've been definitely learning their mistake from the drone show from last year, where that shit just dragged the fuck on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, man, that shit lasted over 10 fucking minutes, dude. I was just out here counting the minutes, but no. They got
Wait, you hated it?
with the
apparently it was too long for them.
It was so goddamn boring, bro. I'm we know it's Vegito. Get on with it.
Yeah, but
that's the drone one.
Yeah, the flying drones that made the animation or the pictures or whatever in the sky. Yeah,
shit was so drawn.
Yeah, they
out.
dragged. It was nice idea, wrong execution.
Exactly. I was checking my phone fucking over 10 times during that shit to kill time. I was like, oh my god, bro.
Yeah, the car one was much better paced wise.
Oh yeah, same thing with the breakdancing thing for part 1. That was
that
very
was cool.
Enjoyed that a lot. But no, overall, I was definitely a big fan of it. In terms of the pick for the Zenkai, he's not going to see any play at all. And like, I don't really think yellow GT Zenkai bench was needed at all, since yellow Forku fits that just fine. But
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you need a 1% alternative that's not an LF, then there you go. Because I can guarantee you they're not making Sin better than Baby. So whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, overall, I enjoyed it.
Okay. Well, that's a positive. I for myself, like I definitely enjoyed the reveal overall and the units that are coming with it. I'm more excited of the free Z power and other materials that are going to be coming with. Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm skipping this Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta banner because number one, I don't main GT, and number two, I'm already spending all of my resources on the teams that I do main, such as movies and powerful opponent and stuff like that. So I can't. I ain't got it like that. I don't know how everybody's able to 14 star these units. You guys must know the tree that has all the dollars on it. If you got a seed, hand it my way so I can do that. But unfortunately, I can't. I just can't do that. But I mean, overall, the reveals was dope. I definitely enjoyed a lot of the stuff that came with it. Shinron, I'd see. We got to see what he's gonna do, what team he's gonna fit on. Like him still keeping his endurance and then the power down and stuff is cool, but again, we'll see if he even makes the cut. But what about you, Glow? What did you think of the overall reveals and how it ranked for you?
I think the reviews was dope. I personally like the cars. I saw some people trying to hate on it, but the same people I see trying to hate on the cars, I know are shut-ins
Hmm.
and don't appreciate good locomotives, good automobiles, good cars, good whips. They don't appreciate it. But I think the car reveal was dope. It reminded me of a little bit of Fast and Furious. I think things that are like small and short like that, I think those go a long way. Like the car one, I think was dope. If they had done the drone one and it like last week, the Vegeta stuff and it was shorter, I think people would have appreciated it a lot more. And I think they learned from that. They made it shorter. And G4, I mean, great choice. For the Ultra. Sin, I think Sin is solid. For what I have an idea what they're trying to do. They're trying to do the same thing they did with Reps. They're trying to make Blast GT and Strike GT. Because Sin is blast based. Mind you, Sin has endurance too. They're trying if Sin is solid enough, and I'm talking about like how they've been doing these 1% Senkais a lot,
Mm-hmm.
then Blast GT might just overall be better than Strike GT. And Blast GT will be like Super 17, USB, and Sin.
That sounds like a strong team too, with the double endurance, and then you have the anchor being the Super 17. That
Yeah,
may
and
work.
Super 17. Yeah, and Super 17 gets rid of buff effects on big moves and rush. USB gets rid of it on ults and rush, so it'll definitely be something that definitely helps that team.
Well, we definitely got to see what the team comps are going to evolve into, because with all these new units coming out every other week, the meta just keeps changing. The list keeps changing. Like, it's really crazy on how to keep up, and we'll see how any banners going forward after the 6th anniversary does the kind of meta shifts. Because as what we got now, I think it's going to be like this for quite a long time. But what do you think, Opsto? What do you think of the overall reveals for you? Did it really hit the nail on the head for you, or is it just like a hard pass?
I mean, he's not an Android, so everything that's not an Android to me is just a hard pass. But anyways, aside from that, I thought it was fine. I think it's a little too early for Ultra Gogeta 4.
Really?
Yeah, I think we should have gotten Goku instead and saved Gogeta for Legends Fest, considering, like, historically, Fest has always been a Gogeta thing. And the only time they broke that trend was this last Legends Fest with UI.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if you look at previous Legends Fest before that, you had Ultra Gogeta Blue. Before that was Ultra Super Gogeta. Before that, it was like the original Gogeta Blue.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I always thought like the
Well,
anniversaries was the time for fusions to get all their buffs, and then they don't get touched until like the next year.
well, historically, and they've proven it again this year, anniversaries are always a Vegito thing, where we get a Vegito every time during an anniversary, no matter what.
Yeah.
Hell, even in like the third anniversary, we got him as a 1%. They have to get him at some representation.
That's true. But I mean, at this point, we got two Gogetas in an anniversary. Is this the first time we got two Gogetas for a celebration?
Yeah, I think
I
so.
think so.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like this is kind of no. I would expect a lot of Gokus because I mean that's kind of what they do. It's Dragon Ball, so you're gonna see a lot of that. But seeing two Gogetas drop in one anniversary or one celebration is definitely very interesting to me. I don't know if we're gonna get any more Gogetas until the end of the year after this. Like I'd be hard pressed to see what can possibly top Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta for releases at this point. And then going into Legends Fest, I mean, I don't know what their headliner is going to be at this point. I mean, they're going to finish it off with Super Saiyan 4 Goku Ultra, or we're going to get another Brawly and Gogeta, or what? Because all the big names have been hit at this point. So I don't know. But that leads up to our overall impressions for the anniversary itself. So we got the part one banners with the Vegito and Gogeta. We got part two with the Godku and the Ultimate Gohan. And then we got part three being the Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Not to mention all of the other 1% Sparkings, the LF Zenkais, the Eclipse that we got, all this other jazz. So, in my personal opinion, I would rank this either one of the or the best anniversary that Legends has released thus far, with the amount of Z power that they drop, chrono crystals that they drop. I mean, besides all of the issues with the servers and stuff like that, because that was hot trash because it was like an issue like every other week, and even now with their update, people are being paired with other players across the world and lagging like hell right now. But from a material and unit standpoint, I think it was pretty dope. So, I mean, I give it an 8 out of 10. What do you think, Glow? What would you rank the overall 6th anniversary? Is it too early to tell, or are you able to give your impressions now?
I'm definitely not based on the unit choices and how those units performed. It's definitely not. It's not one for me. And I think the biggest issue with me is Ultron is part two. It's Ultron and Godku. That's my biggest issue with it.
Mm.
Ultron is a good unit. His animations are shit. Godku.
Gaku's great.
I think Godku might be the worst anniversary LF we've ever had.
Oh no.
I think he genuinely
What,
like
worse than G4 on release?
Worse than
oh yeah,
Evoken?
yes. I think he's worse than G4 on release. I think he's worse than Evoken on release. I think he's worse. And mind you, niggas that know me know I was a massive Orange Piccolo hater because I hated just how they treated him until he got his plaque, which he needed badly. But like he's worse than Orange Piccolo on release. I think because Gaku is out of top 20 and part 3 just started. He was coped for part 10 by some people. He is out of here. That nigga is gone.
Dang. Like
Nope.
not
And
even
the
20. That's crazy to say though. Like I still think he's
bro,
really good.
I'll tell you this. He's good to fill out a third spot and then he'll die immediately. You are better off bringing a bench unit than Gaku. It's that bad.
Wow.
Like he's useless because no matter the way I see it is that he's not the best. Every Saiyan comp doesn't want him. He's kicked off Saiyans. The best Gaki teams don't want him. The best Sun Fan teams don't want him. The best movie teams don't want him. He has no home.
I would think his home would be God Key, right? Because he has endurance. He reduces sub count on rush. Like he goes neutral on when his gauge is full and on his blue card. His ult has 100% cut pen. Like all those are good things with the blocking of the AOE green card and getting an AOE green off the main. Like
And yet he does no damage. His tanking is subpar. His gauge and main mechanic is wonky. He literally just tickles you like a feather. And his main annoyance is his main gimmick, essentially at the end of the day, is an AoE green card, which you can play around. Like he's just bad.
That's real sad
Even
to
like,
say.
and the worst part is Krim is on vacation and he deleted social media. He's not coming back until like later, so he has no idea that UG4 has dropped or anything.
Oh man, he's about to have a rude awakening then when he comes back and sees that he's purple.
Oh yeah, he's cooked. Krim might fucking lose it.
Damn, that's very unfortunate. But for the overall ranking of the anniversary, besides Gaku being cooked to oblivion, what would you rank it though? Like out of all of them, would you rank it like your top 2, top 3, or what?
It's better than second Annie. Second Annie was hell.
Bro,
Third
I love
Annie,
Red PyCon as an anniversary unit.
I keep forgetting that shit was a thing. That was so ass. Third Annie was solid choices, bad execution for the first part. Fourth Annie, horrible execution for part one, but the unit choices were good. Fifth Annie was second Annie part two. I guess we're essentially just gonna give this the second best Annie, I guess.
Dang. Well, we'll see if everybody
Maybe
else.
you could argue first. I don't know. It's like the amount of like the game being buggy, so many issues,
Yeah.
and it's like, and I think the worst part too for me too is that certain units literally only survived for their single part and then died off. Like Green Burly died off. Literally by the time part two came.
Mm.
Uh, both Evil Boo and Kid Boo died off, and they didn't even get a good. They got like what a week together, and now they're dead.
Pretty much any green unit at this point. But I mean, I could it could be argument that they're still runnable and they're still good. It's just people like the new sauce right now. They like the Ultra Gogeta 4. They like the
Every,
fusions and all that,
every green is a liability to that ult. That ult that I've seen that G4s get buff wiped and then debuffed, and the ult still kills
Mm.
by a good margin. I'm like, bro, this like if you want an ult machine, that's G4. Like that ult's killing anybody. And then people are gonna be like, oh, it didn't kill my G4. Well, it didn't kill the G4 ult didn't kill me. My nigga, you're running 14 stars. That's a 5-star G4 with blast equips from Treasure Battle. Be for fucking real.
I mean, we gotta expect the equips just to make sure that they're optimal. But we'll talk a little bit more about the Gogeta's kit and how to run them because I mean, there's definitely a lot to unravel with what he can do, which more questions of what he can't do just on how he's built. But so what would you rank this overall anniversary? Would you put it in one at the top of your list, or is it?
I'd say it's either the second best or the third best, with only like the first and fifth being above it. Obviously, the worst are two and four.
Mm,
Obviously,
Oh,
for
I hate the
me,
fifth inning. I hate fifth inning. That shit ass.
yeah, because of Orange Piccolo.
Yes. And Go Frieza.
But third Annie was just dragged down immensely by the Zenkai meta. Like I firmly believe that if we didn't have the Zenkai meta, third Annie would have been actually great.
mm.
Even though like G4 would have still needed something to help him. Like I think he could have cooked way more if we just didn't have the Zenkais back then.
Oh, for sure. But for like the overall units of choice, the
For
animations,
this
the
year, part one, good choices. Part two, awful choices, except for Godku. Part three, I wanted Goku more because it just felt more right.
mm-hmm.
But going back to part two, my biggest issue is with Ultimate Gohan, where it's not even a thing with his animations. I don't even think he's anniversary worthy as a character.
You know,
Like Ultimate Gohan, like when you think of fights in Dragon Ball, is Ultimate Gohan versus Boo like really like one of the top five you think of?
I mean, depending on who you ask, you might get a yes. I mean,
I've never seen anyone like even rank it like high. I've seen people like rank 17 versus Piccolo higher than that.
it's depending on what era you watched it. I watched a Funimation era where I guess like the Bruce Faulkner like soundtrack was in there, and that whole soundtrack with the Piccolo versus that 17 fight slaps. I don't know about the Dragon Ball Kai stuff because I ain't gonna be honest, I didn't watch Dragon Ball Kai. I watched Dragon Ball Super, but Dragon Ball Kai I did not because I stay true to what is in my generation or my nostalgia. But that fight slaps though. But you really
Yeah,
can't
yeah, it's a
say
great fight.
yeah. But you can't say that the Ultimate Gohan fight between Boo and all of what he said was just complete fodder. Like
Do I need to say the R word?
no.
But again, going back to Ultimate Gohan, like this also kind of ties into the Ultra we got being Gogeta 4. Like, how is Ultimate Gohan an anniversary level character according to the devs, when arguably the second most iconic moment in all of anime was Gohan going Super Saiyan 2 isn't anniversary worthy. Like, bro.
I mean, you got a point there. I can say
Like,
this.
not only that, but they gave Ultra Gohan like some dumbass like trailer just on YouTube. No official reveals at all. Oh no, you can just have him.
Yeah, best character in the game too at the
Yeah,
time.
I hate the unit, but like they could have done him better.
They should have. And the Japanese soundtrack when he first went Super Saiyan 2, I mean that's also pinnacle as well. But
Again, it's literally like arguably the second most iconic moment in anime history. But no, he's just a monthly Ultra. Whereas we got bum ass Ultimate Gohan who almost like dies by letting a Boo absorb Gotenks after 5 minutes.
see, look, we're not going to talk about that now. Like the Ultimate Gohan slander, we got to slow down. But I mean, overall, no one guessed that we were going to get him in part 2. That what
Well,
I
of
will
course
say.
nobody would guess he's not worthy.
Yeah, I can see that. But for your overall ranking for the 6th anniversary, you would put it what, top 3 out of yours or what?
Yeah, it's probably top 3.
Interesting. And what about you, Desla? How would you rank the 6th anniversary? Are you going to say like in the middle of the pack like them, or did you really enjoy and you have it like number 1, or what's your ranking on it?
Number one. Nah, I'm joking. So
Gotta say.
yeah, no, for where I stand with it personally, I'd still say fifth was better, but this is definitely second for sure. Character picks I'm fine with. Part two, I mean, I don't know. Like, I was definitely hyped as shit for God Goku, and then look what happened. But
Mm,
Ultimate Gohan exists, I guess. I don't know. Like, as a monthly LF, sure, that's fine. But like, even like for part two, which is usually like meant for lesser, higher profile characters, like why? He just sticks out like a sore thumb in the lineup. I'm sorry. He
he
just
does.
really is not worthy at all, but whatever. No, I mean, the only issues I really had for the entire thing would probably just be again like the internal server problems where like I felt like every other goddamn day like the goddamn game was down
Mm-hmm.
and you couldn't like play it, and even when you could play it, there would be all kinds of ghost inputs, things like going through.
Yeah, that shit's still happening now.
I Yeah, I know. Trust me. But no, overall, honest to God, like I'd probably say that on top of that too, like I don't really think there's any unit we got from this anniversary in particular that matches like the level of oppression that we got from, let's say, I don't know, like let's say 50th anniversary. It's last year's competitor where Go Frieza was number one for half a year after it
Mm-hmm.
came out. So I don't know. I don't think we have anything quite like that in comparison in terms of like a gap in the game, so to speak. So I'm thankful for that. And as far as Part 3 Ultras are concerned, I can tell you right now that I vastly prefer Gogeta over Vegito Blue because Vegito Blue made me want to rip my hair out when I fought him. Like, oh my god, he never stopped hitting you. Never did.
That's true.
But, yep, thankfully with this guy, though, thank God he cannot, like, if he could combo off his counter, oh god. But thank God he can't.
Whew.
So, I'm thankful for that. And, again, honestly, as far as, like, Ultras are concerned for major celebrations, I don't even think he's that bad. As far as toxicity is concerned, I really don't, honestly. So, I don't know. But overall, I would say besides the internal game problems, whatever, that it's a solid like 8 out of 10 for me, and I'd say it's like my second like favorite out of the entire bunch we've gotten so far.
Good shit, good shit. And we'll talk a little bit more about the overall like Gogeta quote unquote oppression with his kit and everything because there's definitely some
Oh, I got so much to talk about that nigga's kid. Oh my
because
gosh.
like he could do some stuff, but it's like, is it really as bad as what people say it is?
Oh, when people really, I'll go into when it's time, I'll go into it. But there is so much shit I don't think people realize you can do.
So then we gonna start off with you then. So let's go ahead and jump right into the Ultra Gogeta's kit. Again, I don't have too much of using him, so I'm not gonna start off this conversation. But Glow, you got him at what, 1 red, right?
Yep, I have him at 8 stars right now.
What do you think? How's he doing? What's his kit like?
Okay, so the blue card is essentially like tag fours. The more cards you destroy, the more damage it does and the more vanish you get. 4 cards, you get 45% damage and full vanish back. But also gives you 2 cards and destroys 2 of their cards. His blue card is literally just a tag for his combine. His green card being an AoE that draws 2 cards and locks them in. Solid. His ult, best ult in the game. It's honestly insane. Because it also, the thing about the ult is that just on activation, just remember you also do minus 100% to health restore for 20 timer counts to the enemy. Meaning, after like they get hit with the ult, if they survive, they can't really heal, and that's if they survive.
Mm-hmm.
The tap action stuff, it's like you get the big damage. If you land the ult and you get the huge success on a revival enemy, reducing a revival unit's HP by 70% essentially just makes the whole revival useless. Like, I think like that ult single-handedly makes every single revival in the game useless. Like, they lose so much value. And even
Mm-hmm.
if you're not a revival, you lose your key, you lose your cards, and you reduce your Dragon Balls by 100. Now, mind you, when he pops the main ability, he's type neutral for 20 counts, 40% crit rate for 20 counts. He's immune to card destruction and immune to key reduction. The one only flaw I'd say so far from this kid I know is that I've seen is that he a lot of his buffs can be like canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, they're really strong buffs, but most of his buffs can be canceled, other than the typical non-cancelable stuff. He obviously he gets the card on entry. Already has like a baseline card draw speed, but then he gets another one for coming in for 5 counts. Gets the heal, gets the cover null. Last man standing gets a Dragon Ball, buffs, another level of card draw speed, crit damage, 100% to unique charge rate, for gauge, and he gets like Innie's type null permanently.
Mm-hmm.
If you hit him below 50%, he fills up his gauge again and he goes defensive type neutral permanently and he heals. You use any big move on him, he'll reduce sub counts by 5 to switch anybody out. His cover change, I will get into that because I'll do his gauge last, but for now on his cover change, um he can cover change on strikes and blasts, and he draws a blue card whenever you do it, and you can combo the blue card. And he does it twice. He gets the blue card. Now his big thing right now is essentially his gauge. His
Mm-hmm.
gauge normally takes 3 hits, and currently you can get the gauge procs on anything. If you get PV, then they try and hit you, the gauge will proc. If they vanish and try and hit you, the gauge will proc. If you try and blast armor, your blast armor won't happen, the gauge will proc, which is a little bit of a flaw. But his ult and blue card having nullifying blast means that the gauge won't proc on it, and you'll be able to like go through the blast no matter what and still get your like big move off, which is nice. And the big thing about him is that when the gauge is procced, you draw cards, you get key, your next strike art's damage inflicted goes up. Destroy your enemy cards, buff wipe and remove their buffs and attribute upgrades, seal their main abilities for 5 counts, and lock them in twice. The big thing to note about him is that there are so many interactions where you essentially can force your opponent to be locked in, have no vanish, no cards, no main ability. And the other big thing, and this is probably the thing that people are starting to realize too, is that you don't want your opponent to proc your gauge. You want to get your gauge and you want to move it, go back to standby. Because if you cover change with the gauge, you one, take priority over your opponent's cover null, and 2, you counter every move in the game.
Every
You
move.
counter blue cards. You counter AoE green cards. You counter every green card, every blue card, every ult. It even stops UI's lock-in. UI cannot lock you in if Gogeta has his gauge on standby, because if you come in, the gauge will take priority. And that's the big thing they note in the kit. It's like, yeah, it says if only unique gauge is full when cover changing or during assist, this counter will be given priority. So essentially, Gogeta has up to 5 cover changes. and three of them will be against anything.
That's actually wild and crazy. Like nullifying cover change just got power crept with this gauge.
Yeah, three times. However, you could once you use those three, it's gone. There are some situations where like it's essentially a get out of jail for free card on the field, but most times you want to fill it up and then switch him back out. His strike and blast damage, it's alright. Like if you look at his stats, he has like LF stats. They're nothing too crazy. Um, but his ult, like I said, is like insane. I have I've only seen two people live the ult. My GB, but mind you, my GB was 14 stars, and I switched from Fiku, who was able to like buff white.
Mm.
And even then, that brought me from 100 to 15. I had 15% HP left. Like I was in the red zone. And the only other one I've seen live it was like I said, that 5-star Gogeta. It was like a 14-star unit. Every other thing, similar stars, equal stars, I'm seeing Gogeta one shot everything.
Wow. Now, when I'm just
Because I don't know what the exact damage multiplier difference is between the success and huge success, but the huge success, the 1,000 times Big Bang Kamehameha it's honestly fucking insane.
yeah, especially when it crits too. When it crits, that's when you really gotta watch out. And whoever you are, you might
Yeah,
just be dead.
yeah, because typically your crit chance is like 10%, but with his main, you essentially have a 50% chance to crit,
Wow.
and you get the additional crit damage if he's like man standing too.
Yeah. So like the way that this unit actually like plays out, and also just seeing all where his damage inflict comes from, because he starts off with 240 as soon as he hits the board, and then I think he can get what an additional 70 as last man standing, and what an additional 40 to his next strike damage. Outside of that, it doesn't look like he has like unlimited scaling similar to like the blue Brawly has. So based off that, and also his unique gauge being defense dependent, meaning he has to get hit for it to activate, is he star dependent?
I'd say right now, if you have him at 8, you're good.
Mm.
You can leave the banner. If you have him at 8, that is good enough. Post boost, I will say his defense is gonna be on fraud. They might be on fraud watch post boost, but I think he's solid enough for now because he does like he heals a lot. Like people are saying he's fragile. You have to remember he's healing what's it called? He's healing 30% on his main. He heals for 15 counter counts when he enters the battlefield. He heals, what is it, 20% on the gauge field?
Mm-hmm.
Is it on the gauge field? Yeah, 20% on the gauge field.
Yep.
And then another 30% if he falls below 50% HP. He's healing more HP than he actually has.
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy.
What is it? It's 30 on main, 30 below 50%, so that's already 60. And then another 60 from 3 gauges. Yeah, he's healing 120% HP in total.
Mm-hmm. And he also gets the 50% health restoration on top of that as well when he's last man standing. So that's helping even
Yep.
more with the heals that he's getting. So from what it sounds like, you just gotta one shot him. Like if you got a blue card and he's only one pull, like at 5 stars, just bring a yellow unit, hit him with a blue card, and pray that he dies. Because if he doesn't, he's just gonna heal back to full, and then he's gonna go neutral and present to bend people over and do his dirty work. From what I'm understanding. Uh,
Essentially.
but with based on how he is right now, off of your impressions, would you say he's the best unit in the game?
Oh, by far. By far, he's essentially fucked up the meta. I fucked it up, but like he has pushed so many units to like lower top 10. It's not even funny.
Wow. It's crazy because like when we started this whole anniversary, we had the two fusions on the top, and then we had the other units prior before the anniversary still trying to fight for a spot. Now we're at the end of the anniversary, and it seems like now it's filled up with anniversary units and anniversary Zenkais at this point, which complete meta reset. So it's really interesting to see. But what about you, Desla? Do you agree with how oppressive this Gogeta is, or what is your initial impressions with this unit?
So for me, I definitely think that P is just clear cut number one. It's not really close at all.
Hmm.
Uh, in terms of my impressions of him, I actually did pull him twice, and I did give him I think the multi Z power pack, like Ultra Z power. So he's at 9 now.
Oh wow.
Um, I can tell you right now, man. I have not had this much fun with an Ultra ever since like Super Gogeta back during like Legends Fest like 3 years ago. It's insane to think about, but I mean, wow. Like he's just the right amount of oppressive to where I don't feel bad using him, and I don't feel like if you're playing the game well enough that you should be getting pissed off because the unit is just like, locking you down, like not letting you play or whatever, like Vegeta was last year. You literally
Mm-hmm.
couldn't do anything about his combos. You just had to sit there and take it. Overall, though, I would definitely say I'm a big fan. I'm like in a like tough spot to where I keep going back and forth on what I want to do for him in terms of like GT. I think Fusion Warriors is pretty set in stone,
Mm-hmm.
where it's just going to be CMZ with him and fusing Super Vegito. I mean, no safety, but doesn't matter. You could just sec off CMZ and like cripple your opponent with like death buffs galore and make it to where they can hardly play the game, and then you still have like two top three units in the game still to deal with at that point, where Vegeta can just have a full heal and Gogeta is always like practically full healing every time so much as look at him funny. So it's like I don't know. It's a matter of where even without the safety, like it's a matter where there really isn't a safety. It's like good right now. In all
Mm-hmm.
honesty, like the only one that really comes to mind is like just Golden Frieza, and good, probably an overstatement because I mean his whole gimmick of like nuking your health is kind of just lost its impact now because both the fusing boys just completely negate it entirely. But barring him, I mean, revivals are just dead now. Like Glow was mentioning, you can't use a revival now. You just can't do it. It's not worth
Wow.
it.
I think you
Uh,
can, but don't let your revival get hit by that ult. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, like, what other revival like is gonna like be able to do a damn thing right now?
I think the only thing
Like,
that's remaining is the Ultra Golden Frieza, right? The final counter. Is that the
Well, I
only
know
option?
him, but
yeah,
like I'm talking like traditional revivals. Like, there's really no one
yeah,
else left who can like hang in
yeah,
there.
because because comeback isn't affected by it. But it's like if we're going by straight revivals, like PyCon is just lucky he shares a team with me. That's all I gotta say.
Mm.
PyCon is lucky
You're
he
not you're
shares a
not using
team.
his ass on anyone on
I'm not
or
saying
infusions right now.
you're not using any of them, but I'm saying PyCon is the closest revival right now to usable. As much as I love the Orange Piccolo team I was running before, I think Orange Piccolo is more solid, but it's like he gets hurt the worst by Gogeta's ult. You're
Mm.
reviving with 30% HP and your whole gimmick is you take hits to fill your gauge. Come on now.
You ain't got enough health to do that now. No.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, but I think on top of that too, I mean like honestly the way as well to build him I found is like just to prioritize a lot of like health restore equips because I mean dude, he's healing like over 100% of his health in his kit. Like it's ridiculous. He's healing I think 20% 3 times with his gauge. He's
Mm-hmm.
healing 30 off main. And I think he's healing like 30 or 40 off of like getting under 50%. Like dude,
He's a raid boss.
you can't kill him. You can't do it. Like it's ridiculous. But no, overall, like very big fan of him. I'm very glad that he shook things out the way he did because, and this is coming from us on Philly main, so just to be very clear about it, um, I'm a little sad that UUI's out because I mean I did like him honestly, but Ultra Gohan can fucking die. The only reason why I summoned for him is because I mean, one, it's a hype moment, two, it's Sun Family, and then
Mm-hmm.
three, I mean, yeah,
You got to.
I mean, you pretty much do, yeah. But overall, no, he was one of the characters where, like I mentioned before with Gogeta, I don't feel bad using him. I feel bad using Gohan. Like I don't know, I feel like I have to turn my brain off to like not, I don't know, just feel disgust while I'm using the rat, but whatever. I don't know, it is what it is. But overall, I'm very happy with his impact, how it was designed, all that kind of stuff. Definitely 2 thumbs up. So in comparison to last year, especially night and day for Part 3 Ultras. So
Oh, for sure.
yeah,
And and to see like how many people are like summoning, like this game got top grossing in Japan. That is extremely hard to do, is what Glow was saying. Like you're competing against all these other mobile games like Honkai Star Rail and all these other huge ones in Japan, and Gogeta broke the bank on this one, making everybody essentially going all in to 14 star this unit. So kudos to the dev team for coming out with an extremely hype unit. I guess this kind of finishes off the roadmap for GT, because I mean we said it in multiple podcast episodes that this was going to be the year for GT, with all the GT buffs we got late last year coming all the way up until now. GT has got a whole brand new set of units, more than 6 at this point, to really like flesh out their team, either strike or blast base. What about you, Op? So what do you think of this Ultra Gogeta overall? Like, I know you haven't summoned for him because you're overall Android's main, but have you gone against him?
I did do 2 rotations for him.
Oh, you did, huh? Did you get
Because I
him?
like monkey. I'm a monkey fanatic. Don't you know this?
Oh my
Did you
god.
get him?
I did not know.
Uh,
I wasn't expecting to. If I got him, I got him. If I didn't, I didn't. It's whatever. But I have fought him, and I hate it. But I will say this. I will say this.
Me Alton.
No, I've survived that ult many times.
Yeah, okay. Let's change that. Drop code.
No, with the gammas.
Oh, man. What stars?
Well, what stars was Gogeta?
Yeah.
Gogeta was at 10. Actually built well with good equips.
I
bench.
need to see. I need to see the video.
he said, "Pull up the receipt."
I don't have it. It was yesterday.
Well, we'll never know now.
Okay. And my gammas are, I think they're 12.
You don't got
12
the
or
14?
11. No, not yet.
But I mean, overall, with this kid on how oppressive it is his unique gauge as oppressive as everybody else says it is, where you just can't do anything, or are there ways around it?
It is that oppressive, and I think if we harken back to the very first episode of the podcast, where I was saying that it's time to get a unit that can seal gauges, I think now we need that more than ever. I unironically think that now it's getting out of hand.
Yeah, because now we have 3 units in the game that essentially reset the field, either strike or blast now with this Ultra Gogeta, which
I think like at some point, probably within like the next summer months, we might get that. Of course, we're gonna get a shit ton of yellow units to counter him.
So here come the yellows.
And I think we're also gonna get more like comeback and like indestructible units.
That'd be good to see, like more like original story units that have really unique mechanics and such to kind of shake things up. I mean, at this point, Revival has been crept out with this Ultra Gogeta, and buff removal seems to be essential just for these endurance units to even be able to do anything, post, alt and stuff like that. So I'm very curious to see like where does the meta go from here, or will it stay the same between now and 2025? But outside of that, like, is the Gammas like your current option to fight against this Ultra Gogeta 4, or what else can the team do?
If I'm being honest, they aren't doing too bad against him. I've had multiple times against high star Gogetas where they'll just wait to blast armor like frame 1, and they'll go through a gamma blast, which if you don't know, it has anti armor. And I've come very close to one-shotting those Gogetas many times.
Interesting.
Like I fully think, like what Glow was saying earlier, that once his boost is gone, his defense is going to be fucking nothing. Of course, he heals a lot, but if he can't tank for shit, how is he going to heal?
That's true too. And then when more units come out that like nerf your health restoration, that can also put a damper to the Ultra Gogeta's heals. For him coming back from death like that.
Yeah.
Man, well, my initial impressions overall with this Gogeta is like, I see how his neutral game is super strong, with him having the ability to pretty much nullify every single card in the game, including blues, greens, strike, blast, blast cards or strike cards and alts. But he can't counter after that. So if you have like if you've already used your vanish and you proc his gauge, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah, you are.
You're cooked.
Like, very much. Like if the Gogeta player is smart, they'll save their gauges for very late game. And just fuck your shit with it.
True.
Yeah.
But at least I was starting to use the gammas because hey, he can't counter the core breaker.
That's true. Core breaker might nuke. It'll definitely nuke him. But like, how
Well,
quick?
we might get more standby units like that.
Yeah. But I mean, how quick are you getting into his gauge though? Is you getting a timely fashion?
Most of the time, like it's pretty fast. It's not like the new yellow Gogeta where you can just go into Gogeta within the first like 5 counts or something. No, that's ridiculous.
Hmm.
But you can still get into it pretty fast.
Like, let's say about 60 counts in, a core breaker's ready to go.
Uh, yeah,
Okay.
60, 70.
Not bad. That's about mid game there. As long as the units are still there and they're living, I can see how all that plays in. But I mean, overall, like if you proc the gauge and you have vanish, you can somewhat play around that and try to play passive and not get caught by his shenanigans. But if you don't have your vanish and you proc his gauge, then you're kind of screwed from there. So that's one thing that I've learned about. And then also, Glow mentioned that you're able to save his actual counter and go into standby. I've seen a lot of people do that as well. That is hella toxic, but again, he can't counter after that. So you reset the field, and then you just gotta take a step back and see what this Ultra Gogeta can do. Um, but outside of that, I mean, he's number one. I mean, I don't think there's any question. Any list that you'll see coming out from anyone is probably going to have him number one, in my personal opinion, unless we'll just be shocked in some way, shape, or form. But the equips that they dropped for him, they gave him three, literally a starter kit, getting this guy ready to go. You got the equip from PvP, you got the equip from co-op, and then you also had the equip from the stages or whatever in the unique equip section. Have you guys checked out the equipment for PvP yet, or what it can do?
Only I'd say right now only the PvP equip is optimal on them. The other two aren't.
Yeah.
The one from the event, um, if I remember correctly, it's limitation. What is it? It's fusions in purple.
Mm-hmm.
That's it's solid, but you can get like other base equips that can just do more for you. Because even though it gives like a 35% strike attack, 10% both offenses, that 30% blast defense is kind of whatever. You're better off running the equip with SS4 Goku where he's blind. Which one is that? That's the Awaken these times were dark enough without you. That essentially gives like the same thing except a little less strike, but you get HP.
Mm. And HP is
The
hella important too.
Yeah, the PvP equip, which is technique too fast for the eye, that gives HP, 20% strike defense, and then another 18% strike defense, and then 12% the strike attack for this character, the Super Saiyan 4. That's solid because you'll still get a bunch of strike attack from like his other stuff. Um, all his others, like you'll get it from the base. If you're running him from an LF, the Legends ability, and Zenkai bench if you do so. It's not the worst. And then the co-op equip, it's how do I say it's not the worst, but it's more so if you can very well tell it's meant to be ran with like baby and USB
Yeah.
and like other units around him. Like if you're running him with units that are meant to be tanky and like work around with more health restore, this equip is perfect for them. For him, not so much.
That makes sense. So, out of all the three that's currently out right now, upon his release, the PvP one you're leaning towards of must run, and the others are kind of like meh.
Actually, there might be a way you can run it because I now that I am remembering, GT does have the one of the first co-op equips,
Mm-hmm.
the one with Goku just laughing. I remember that is both off pure offenses and HP. If you get that, you can run it because then you'd run his new equip, which gives strike offense. You get run that old equip, and then you'd run this other equip. So that's not bad, but you'd have to do it on like a full GT setup.
Yeah. Okay. And with the co-op equip, it giving like the pure defenses, are pure defense equips valued at the moment, or is it not so much?
It depends. It's like if you have the ability to run a well-rounded equip setup, then run it. But more often than not, most people are going to end up running offensive equip setups.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a supported offensive unit, then you're going to run defense.
Then that's where you would want to kind of lean towards, because I mean we've seen a lot of like GT units come out with like double defense Z abilities, and it seems that with this equip they're also playing off of, having GT be like the tanky team in this game.
Yeah.
So I can see how that team would be structured, but I feel like a lot of the team cops that GT mains do, they don't really rely too much on the defense equips. They're like pure offense, juice up the units as best as possible with the glaze setups and just try to one combo the units. Do you think that we'll see a shift in like the equipment setup, or are people just going to still run the most offensive equips in the game?
I don't even think it's an equip thing is going to really change it. I think it's really just the thing about G4 is that as strong as he is and as much as he like stopped all these other units from existing, especially toxic ones like Ultra Gohan, he himself, in theory, is not hard to counter.
Mm-hmm.
All you need is a yellow version of MVP 17 to exist, and that keeps G4 in check. Because,
Interesting.
like I said, most of his buffs are cancelable. You have a yellow version of that, he's not a problem.
Hey, yo, can I get a yellow 21 that does exactly that and seal gauges?
Yeah, no, you already have the original one. You're good.
Yeah, I need another one.
Nah,
No.
Too funny.
Bro, if hybrids can get two, I can get two.
I mean,
nah,
No.
nah.
I feel like hybrid shouldn't be touched for quite some time now. Sorry, Professor, but y'all team is just too strong right now. Now that we finally have a unit like this, I'm curious to see on how the hybrid meta will shift, or if they'll do any kind of like team comp changes. Because I don't know if they really have like a yellow to really put a damper on the Ultra Gogeta. Do they really have a yellow? Does anyone know?
No.
Yeah, so
Nope.
I think Gogeta may truly be the hybrid killer at this point until they come out with a. Actually, no. Hold on.
No, we're not counting the fat nigga. We're not counting the fat nigga. I know exactly where you was going. We're not counting
Hey, yo,
him.
what's wrong with Fat Gotenks?
That's crazy.
Fat Gotenks or Vegeta Trunks or Trunks Vegeta.
No.
You don't think hybrids can use them?
No.
Damn.
No.
Oh, then never mind. I'll leave it at that then.
They're cool, but if he lands that ult on Vegeta, oh dear heavens, he's gone.
Oh yeah, it's beyond gone. There's no way he's surviving that. But for the equipment selection, Desla, we'll go to you. Do you feel like any of these equips would be used besides the PvP, or just use whatever you got?
So for me personally, actually, I'll go ahead and like show my loadout for, or I guess just talk about it. I have two slightly different ones for GT infusions. So I'm logging in right now, actually, as we're speaking. So hold on.
Yeah, you're good.
Raid Boss Wars. I don't care. Okay, great.
Because I'd like to see like how would a defensive like GT setup would fare within the meta, since a lot of their stuff tailors to defense.
Right. So what I have here for GT in particular is that, let me see, that Awaken, these times are dark enough without you. I mean, it's literally a perfect equip for him, just flat out. It's too good not to run.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one. The second one I have is that I'll slow him down so you can count them this time, which is like a bunch of both base and pure offenses, and then on top of that he's also getting base health on it, so that's very good, obviously. And then the third one, I actually do have the co-op play on him, simply because of the fact that he is a little squishy.
Mm-hmm.
So any like little bit helps, and on top of that, it's also giving health restoration, which, as we know, he's healing an absolute shit ton. So only throwing on more health restore will prove to be beneficial. So
yeah.
there's that. And then for the Fusion Warriors comp, the only thing I swapped out was the I'll slow him down plat for the old plat with like Forky on after like he takes like a punch from Baby with the I'm surprised by strength, which is a bunch of base defenses with I think up to 30 strike, base strike, yeah. And then the first slot is also health restoration. So I mean, like you pair that with the co-op plat, and then also that awaken these times directly without you. I mean, in my experience, like he's so well rounded with that equip loadout. Honestly, he's
Mm-hmm.
very good with it. So overall, that's what I would say. Of the bunch that we got, I would probably say the only one that's mandatory, in my opinion, is to just get the co-op plat done. That's about it.
It's the
Like
only one.
yeah, the PvP equip is okay. It's not great. And then the base equip that we got from the ultimate equipment like collection whatever, again, it's a matter of where like the I'm surprised my strength is just an overall better option, just objectively speaking. So
Yeah,
no reason to go for it. So
that makes sense. Okay. So, but for with the defensive equipment that you're using, do you see like a difference with his tankiness?
oh, I mean I have a 9, so I can tell you right now in my experience that combined with the loadout that I give him, I mean he tanks decently well. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, I'll definitely like I guess record more footage for it just to have like a better idea of like I don't know
How it stands?
a
Yeah.
better visual or whatever. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, honest to God, like he's doing perfectly fine offensively for me, and like I'm fighting decently startup comps. I mean, I'm not going hard this season just yet. I'm just trying to have fun with the ultra. I'm not trying to like burn myself out by playing like 200 games in like 3 days or some shit.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah. Overall, though, no. I mean, I definitely think with the loadout, he's very well rounded and is able to perform very well. So yeah.
All right. Interesting. Interesting. Because I know Go Rush put his video out for him being at 14 star, and I mean everybody knew he was just gonna obliterate everybody, especially at the early seasons and stuff. I'm very curious to see on how he performs. Let's say a week or two later, as people get used to what his kit does, and then they change their team comps to run a comparable yellow to really turn the tides with that unit. So we'll see how that goes. But the last thing we want to talk about is just how the meta has shifted overall. Currently, we're seeing a bunch of top 10 lists that are coming out right now that's adding the Ultra Gogeta to that just to show his like supremacy over all the other units. But Glow, you recently put a list out on Twitter as well where you had him number one. Desla has also made a list as well. So I wanted to take a moment to where we kind of compare the two to see how both of those differ and kind of, understand the overall meta impact that Gogeta has done. Because I can say for now, we're probably not going to have another huge meta shift like this until probably, Legends Fest. So we'll start off with you, Glow. You said you got your top 10 up, right?
Yeah.
What's that looking like?
At 10, I got USB, Universal Spirit Bomb Go the GTK2. At number 9, I got Ultra UI. At number 8, I have Ultra Gohan. 6 and 7 are tied with LF Baby and Ultra Golden Frieza. At number 5, I have LF Ultimate Gohan. Number 4, I have Zenkai, LF Corrupt Merge with Masu. Number 3, I have LF using Super Vegito. At number 2, I have LF using Gogeta Blue. And then at number 1, I have Ultra Gogeta 4.
And then Desla, what's your top 10 list looking like? And we'll just kind of compare the two going from 10 to 1.
Yeah, it's fine. So my top 10 right now is 10. I have Shin.
Okay.
9. I have the Ultra Gohan. Number 8. I have Ultra UI. 7. I have Golden Frieza. 6. I have Ultimate Gohan.
Mm-hmm.
5. I have Baby. 4. I actually have Gogeta Blue. 3.
Wow.
3 is CMZ. 2 is Super Vegito, and then 1 is G4.
Okay, we got to talk about this. So we'll start off with Ultimate Gohan or Ultra Gohan for one. He was all the way at the top, being what, top 3, sometimes 1, depending on the list that you're looking at in the
Top 2
region.
usually, yeah.
Now he's like 8, 9. How has so you guys agree? Ultra Gogeta has killed Gohan. Is that right?
I mean,
Yes.
damn near, yeah.
Yep.
Almost.
You can't use him safely. You just can't do it.
Like,
Like, there's no good yellow right now that you can use on his teams to cover his ass that can actually do their job well. Like we mentioned before, like earlier, again, like Ultra UI cannot do his job because of how G4's gauge works. And if you're fighting someone who's not an idiot, they'll say their gauge correctly, and then if you try and go in and like lock him in or something like that, like dude, I literally had a clip the other day. I think like the first day of the season where someone tried to lock in and like ult my G4. I blinked him away.
Mm.
Like you literally can't kill him now with that whole strategy anymore. Like UI is just washed. But no,
because the
Ultra
other thing is
Gohan,
this, like,
like I
you
don't know.
you got you got to remember they also got counter gauges. It's the reason I got GB at 2 is that now Fusions has 4 units that all fuck over Gohan and UI.
Mm-hmm.
GB. And the other thing is this: the main reason I had GB at 2 is because of these counter gauges, and GB is like the perfect answer to
Yes.
UG4. I'm telling you right now, if GB's blue card and green card could chain in his assault chain, he would be guaranteed one.
Bro, they should give the next 21 unit an assault chain too.
Hell no! For a Super 17 comeback, fuck no.
Not happening.
I prefer Super 17 over everything happening right now.
Hell no. But like I'd say, my tier list, the top 4 units all fuck over Gohan.
Hell
CMZ
yeah.
has his ult or main into rush. SV has his rush. GB has his assault chain. G4 has his ult. It's like, wow, it's done for.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, Ultimate or Ultra Gohan. Your time has finally came up, and you're gonna be thrown into the garbage. Now, not saying that this unit is bad, because as we know, the Ultra Gohan still does Ultra Gohan things. But now that this Ultra Gogeta now exists, he essentially says no, and you can't do anything. And then he looks at Ultra UI and also says no, you can't do anything. So, and everybody's gonna run him. Like if you're in top 1K, you're gonna run into Gogeta probably, and this is Super Saiyan 4 Ultra Gogeta. You're gonna run into him probably a bunch of times, and you're probably gonna run into him alongside the fusing Gogeta Blue. So there's 2 units that say F your couch. I'm gonna just go through your stuff with Assault Chain, and then also I'm gonna counter everything that you do, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. And there's a purple, and he's gonna nuke you with a Supreme ult that does even more damage when you hype it up. So it's I'm sorry, we think it's done here, but like, hey, we could be wrong. Things could change, and maybe yellow hybrids will come out with a yellow, post Annie. That's gonna help them out to be able to survive and fight the Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. But again, we'll see how kind of all that evolves. My question for you though, Desla, is why do you have Gogeta Blue so low?
So low? Okay. So my problem is just that because the fact that UUI and Gohan got hit so hard by this Gogeta,
Mm-hmm.
that you're going to see them way less. Just dead ass, you are. Because, again, UUI cannot do his main shtick, which is locking in because of how Gogeta's counter works. You can't do it. And then, on top of that, Gohan has no reliable yellow at that point to cover his ass. There's none. At all. Period. So, at that point, like, you're left with just the one counter gauge unit who is dominant right now, and that's just Gogeta. And that's it. Besides that, like, there's really no one else. And guess what? CMZ is like his perfect partner to a T, where he covers him perfectly. I mean, like, to a T, like the works. Just there's no way of getting around it in terms of the fact of just CMZ in terms of what he can do off rip without any buildup whatsoever is
Mm-hmm.
so oppressive. I mean, dude, I'm telling you, green card in hand, someone makes a dumb fuck move and like
They're dead.
tackles, tries to get priority first, Lord forbid, they miss it, like that unit's gone. like like straight up. He's doing so much damage, even just off rip. 180 counts in the match just goddamn started. He is still like wiping out families without a care in the world, man.
My goodness.
He does not give a single shit. But it's that paired with the fact of just how safe he is right now to use, because he can be so slippery in the right hands to actually get your hands on, and he's
Mm-hmm.
healing so much. So that paired with G4 and how much they heal as well, I mean, it's a repeat of the third anniversary all over again, where they're best buddies again. Like it's ridiculous, but I mean, like again, they are clearly made to be ran together. There's no way around it. Like it's a night and day, very clear indication of just that was their intention, at least to me. But that's why I think CMZ just checks every yellow like so easily right now. That's the
Mm-hmm.
problem, and he's also part of what I think is the best team in the game right now, which is just G4 with Super Vegito and CMZ.
Wow.
Like, yes, no safety, but you're doing so much damage immediately that doesn't matter. And you have so much healing at your disposal to where there's plenty of instances where you can make a comeback happen with almost no effort.
Interesting. So then this may bring a different question. This may be, just out of context or whatnot with just overall best team in the game. But God Key, this CMZ would be essential for him to run with the Ultra Gogeta Blue. That alongside the, Godku. I know you guys hate him. Do you foresee that being one of the better teams in the game or no?
Do I foresee
And
a team that has dead weight on it as a third
Oh
character?
God,
No, I, I,
dead
I
weight.
don't. I
Well,
don't foresee that
I'll
happening.
be so honest with you, and I think Desla might agree with this. It might be out of pocket and crazy, but I think I think Yellow Pan has more value than Gaku right now.
Oh God, Yellow Pan, GT
To
Yellow
be
Yellow,
Pan.
honest, I
correct,
agree.
100%. And number two, I think every sparking unit with a 1% plat got more value than Gaku. That boy is shit.
Yeah, he's
Man,
awful. I'm sorry. Like, I'm praying to God that a plaque comes within a reasonable time frame. Like, I pray it's not until October. For the love of God,
I'm
don't
not
do
gonna
that.
lie, he need that plat now. He need that
Yeah,
plat
he does.
now.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm
I
telling you,
pray it
like
gets it soon.
he needs what these 1% units are getting on a plat. He's fucked.
110%. They undertuned
I'm
him so bad.
high key. He might be the worst premium release of any anniversary or festival. I think his release is worse than G4 and Orange Piccolo.
wow.
I'd agree. I honestly
I
would.
think, because at least G4 was in top 10 by the end of his celebration.
Yeah,
At least Orange Piccolo was coked 8 to 10 for his celebration. Bro, he's out.
He's off the
Gaku is out of
list.
10 by the next part of his celebration.
Yo, Opso, you gotta help me out here, man.
He's not coming to your defense.
So
say shit about it.
I still think that overall, if we like, I do believe that the two worst like anniversary units we've ever gotten are or anniversary LFs. The worst anniversary unit ever is still going to be Red PyCon. It's no debate, but whatever.
Premium ones.
Yeah, I'm talking about premium, but so it's obviously between Godku and G4. And whenever I think about G4 from back then, the only thing that comes to mind is the one video where his ult couldn't even kill a pretty low star Vados, who was notoriously not tanky.
So I'm alone in this. I'm the
Yeah.
only. I'm the only
I still
Godku
think
defender.
no, I'm defending Godku, but not as much as you think. I don't think Godku is the worst. I think G4 is the worst, but it's not by much. I think Godku, like in terms of where Godku and G4 are, like right now, like G4 back when he first came out, I think Godku is an infinitely better unit.
I'll give you this. At least G4 could end the combo.
Mm,
Oh,
At least
damn,
G4 could end the combo. Gaku can't do that shit.
No, I'm
damn,
talking about
man.
LF G4.
Yeah, I'm no LF G4. He at least got a dual cover change. What does Gaku have?
Cover change on
Destroy
strike.
two cars. Yeah, cover change on strike. Destroy two cars and everyone got car draw speed that one set refills their hand. Yeah, okay.
All right. Well,
Yeah, but still, like,
Actually, hold on.
I still
Is he
think
the is he the worst LF release in general?
ever no,
Hold on.
no.
No. Let's be for real. Let's really look at it. Who is he? Who is like? Obviously, number one is Green Bears. Green Bears on release was trash. Is he two of all time? Who like LF release?
I can't say because I have him.
I'm thinking of
The
meme
worst.
characters right now. Hold on.
Cause I'm looking at it and he might be the like He might
Oh,
be the
hold on. Sorry, man.
SS3.
I'm gonna have to silence you down there, right there.
OGSS3?
You're forgetting about our Lord and Savior, Blue Boo Tanks.
No, LF.
Oh, LF. Okay. That narrows it down.
I think he's
Yeah.
the worst. He's the second worst LF release in general.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna pull up the actual LF tag list.
I
Give me a
like
second.
I think I'm still on the fact that the worst one of the worst LF releases we've ever gotten. Like on the top of my head is probably Purple Rose.
He
Bro
wasn't.
did
Nah,
nothing.
No, he wasn't that bad.
nah, nah. Because JP, I don't know what it was. JP made him look good. I don't know why though, but he always looks good on every JP content creator I saw. Like he was
Well,
doing crazy things.
like the thing about him is that you know how his entire shtick was the chip damage with bleed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Why the fuck is he doing like like extreme bleed does 20,000 per tick, right?
yeah.
He came out like 10 months after Red Omega, who does 10k plus like more tick damage. He does 30k, the original Red Omega. Because you can stack both bleed and poison with Omega, yet you have bum ass a Purple Rose who's just doing nothing.
Mm.
Oh, and Glow. I looked at it. I think the only LF that can really compete with him is like the OG 3Q.
Yeah, and
He's up there
actually,
too.
Riku and like Green Beerus, and that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
What about Red Cooler?
Wow. Holy shit.
Red
No,
Cooler
Red
was
Cooler,
like number
no.
Red Cooler,
he was
no.
number one. Red Cooler was number
No.
one when he dropped. It may have been short, but he fucked up the game.
Deadass killed like an Anniversary Ultra. You could not use him.
I'd also bring in the conversation. This is gonna seem a little like out of left field, but I'd also bring in LF Goten, where on release he was good, but 2 weeks later we got Vegito.
I still think his LF is hella ugly. Like they really need to do something with that. I guess that's
Another one that comes to mind is Yellow Piccolo. You're not. He had no home.
Yeah.
He had a home, but his competition was stiff as hell because you had Yellow DKP and you had Yellow Cell.
No, not only that, but Regen was completely stacked at the time with strike units like DKP, like Cell,
yeah.
like Purple
Yeah.
21, like Fat Boo, like Baby.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it was definitely more like, what's it called? Actually, because the thing was, you could run Baby, Fat Boo, and then Pickle at that time because
You
Fat Boo
could,
and Baby
but-
were mixed. They were
You-
mixed.
You could, but again, it was better to use Strike with Fat Boo because of that like 100% buff he gets. So I more oftentimes saw people running like Purple 21 with Fat Boo and Baby.
Well, I guess.
Well, hold
it's-
on, let's get back to this tier.
I was gonna say like.
There's some crazy slander rant going on. Jeez.
So back to this tier list then. So we went through both top 10 through 1, and we saw some of the comparisons here. So for number 1, both lists have Ultra Gogeta Super Saiyan 4 at number 1. Is that right?
Yeah, you don't gotta draw it out. It's pretty objective at this point.
Yeah, there's nothing else to be said on there. But from 10 going up, you got well, we'll start off with you, Glow. You had the Spirit Bomb Goku. You really still think he's usable in today's meta?
I think his saving. See, the 10 spot you could have Shin there. I'm not against him having Shin. Shin is a good option there. You could have Super 17. You could have even Red Omega at that 10 spot. The reason I got USB is because of G4's ult. G4's ult is a guaranteed kill.
Mm-hmm.
USB, he gets better when your opponent has less allies. You just pop that ult whenever you can with G4. Now you got a lock-in ult with USB. Just like that. It speed runs him getting the stronger ult. That's the only reason I got him at 10.
For the GT setup completely. Got you.
I still just wish he was better. It's a damn shame, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. USB just, he has just small flaws. They're not massive things. It's literally just
They add up though.
key on. Yeah, he needs key on. Like the big, like there's some things you could maybe bring down to nitpicks, but the big things he needed was like key on entry. Yeah,
Better than
really
like
just
10% debuffing?
Yeah,
Like what?
the debuffing is shit.
That's nothing. Like, what were they thinking,
Nah,
dude?
Yeah.
they're scared of debuff. They've been scared of debuffing since Pan.
Boo fucking who? You make a defense type, make it like, make it good. It's their whole
But
shtick.
but let's compare this to your 10, Desla, because you have Shin at your number 10, right?
I do indeed.
So where's his home?
I mean, you can slap him just about anywhere as like a dedicated support, and he's obnoxious as shit to deal with. If you're using him correctly, which is again, you can literally like freely blast and then immediately cue a strike, and your opponent just has to tap.
Yeah.
They can't use their hand. They can't do it. So it's a matter of where if you're in a tight spot and you're like, well, shit, I gotta like have some like time to stall for a bit so I can like kind of recollect myself and get my sub counts down, then do that. There's that, and also the fact that I mean his ult like on main like wipes the entire hand, also inflicts paralysis. I mean, again, on top of that, 40% support isn't nothing. It's very good. So, overall, I'm definitely a big fan of him. Honestly, you can like legit, like I said, just slap him on just about any comp, and he'll be able to perform. So,
I can see that. So like would you say he's comparable to like Bulla when she was first released?
Bola, I, I'm sorry, dude. As far as supports go, the Shin clears Bola. It's not even close.
Mm.
Or
Just
Even
like
on
with
release.
the disrupt that Shin provides versus what Bulla provides. Because I don't think the only disrupt she has is like the key reduction on hit, which
Which
now we
is
have
like
units.
literally worthless now. You don't
Yeah,
even feel it whatsoever. So
exactly.
it's annoying one time, and that's about it.
And even then, like with units that nullify key reduction, they don't even feel it at all. So
Yep. No, zero reason to run right now.
very interesting. And then for the 9 comparisons, Glow, what did you have for number 9?
number 9, I had what's his name? Ultra. What's it called? Ultra
Yeah,
UI.
Ultra UI. And then Desla, what did you have at number 9?
Ultra Gohan.
Okay, so they're pretty much in the same bucket for between like where their usage sits because of Ultra Gogeta 4, and then 4 for 8. Desla, what was your 8? Because I know Glow's was
UI.
Ultimate Gohan.
It's literally
It's
just
literally the same
same
thing.
thing swap.
Same
It's
thing with
swapped.
Yeah.
swap. So we'll encompass that both in the same thing. You guys are kind of equal there. 6 and 7
Yeah.
pretty similar as well. Because
I will
Glow.
say regarding UI and Gohan, the reason I have UI lower is I think UI gets hurt a lot more. I him UI and Gohan both get hurt a lot, but the amount. How do I describe this? Say you have 100%, right? You have one thing that's 100% full, another thing that's 50% full. You take out 40%. It's the same 40%. One is gonna have 50% left. The other one's gonna have 10% left. The 50% is Gohan. The 10% is UI. UI is honestly, he might be on. He's on life support.
Mm,
I think next release might genuinely knock him out of top 10 because everything about Ultra Gogeta just says middle finger to both of them, but UI hurts. It's like it's worse for him. His lock in becomes worse because one, you can stop the lock in with the cover change with Gauge. Two, if Gogeta has Gauge and you try and like and you do lock him in and you try and pop the ult, he just stops it.
mm-hmm.
Your ult becomes useless. It's like, mind you, even if you stop the lock in with the cover change, it does not like get rid of the lock in. He still has the one charge of it. It
Okay.
doesn't stop it. It doesn't like it doesn't use it up. But it does make him like less. It makes him
Yeah.
more good. It's just worse for him.
Yeah, it's like his
Right. Yeah.
biggest trick he can't do because it's completely nullified by
Right.
the Ultra
Pretty
Gogeta.
much. No, I mean I get why it has it swapped. It's just the reason why I have it like obviously reversed is just because of the fact that again, Gohan has no good yellow to cover him now. Again, you can like say that UI can like do things, and yellows are in high demand right now to obviously deal with G4. So I think that in mind, like, makes it to where he has higher value because I mean, G4. If we're gonna like compare and contrast here, like who is the bigger threat, Super Vegeta or G4? I mean, there should be no debate on this. So I mean, obviously with that in mind, like yellows are in higher demand, and on
Mm-hmm.
top of that, again with his best partner being UI, who gets like hard countered to oblivion by this G4. I mean, there's no one hybrids as a good third to be a yellow that can cover his ass because VT is there, and
Mm-hmm.
UI is just like I've already mentioned before, being a hard counter to hell and back. So it's a matter of where he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Where honest to God, the only thing I think can really save him, in my opinion, is like if they pull a like let's say post fest into the new episode campaign thing they did for like this earlier this year where they actually Zenkai G4, which led into the GT campaign, where I think the next episode campaign will probably like relate to future if I had to guess.
I hope so.
So what they could do is actually Zenkai Future Gohan.
They could.
That would be absolutely the savior for this Gohan. At that point, if they do that within the next week or so, I'm telling you right the hell now, like I think that like Gohan's probably
Gohan's
gonna be knocked
back.
on top five again. I'm not gonna lie to you, like especially because they're not gonna like under tune a Gohan Zenkai, especially in LF1. It's not
Mm-hmm.
gonna happen. So we've seen how timeless this future Gohan has been in the past. It took goddamn UVB to finally kill his ass off, like years later.
Mm.
So, it's a thing of where that's a factor. But overall, I would say that it's heavily dependent on that what if. If it happens, Gohan's not on top five again. If it
But here's the
doesn't,
thing. But here's the thing, right?
you know,
You have to remember that, like, we could argue that, like, oh, there aren't that many purples to deal with Gohan. My nigga, there are three strong ass yellows, and UG4 is still one.
mm-hmm.
There are three, and UG4 is still one. It is
Yep.
going to take a targeted buff to stop UG4 if they want to get rid of him, bro. And if they don't, this essentially means the end of Gohan.
Yeah, which we know it won't. So we'll see how
Yep.
hybrids kind of take this going forward. But from 7 and 6, you guys had pretty much similar placement where Glow has Baby 2 and UGF tied. And I believe
Mm-hmm.
you had only UGF there, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so that pretty much mirrors up. And then your 6, what was your 6, Desla?
It was Ultimate Gohan.
Okay, so your 6 is pretty different. Well, 6 and 5 are pretty much similar for you, Glow, and Desla with Ultimate Gohan. So for Ultimate Gohan's placement, I know people were screaming that he was number one. He went from number 1 to number 5 overnight, essentially. We'll start off with you, Desla. His impact overall, has it fallen that low to the wayside because of the resurgence of Gogeta Blue, or is this more for an effect of just fusions being better?
Future's being better. On top of that, it's a matter of where his best partner, Ultra Gohan, being like essentially like told to get the fuck out, is also contributing to that as well to consider. So it's a matter of that being in place to where I mean, he doesn't have a good place to be ran besides like with the both of the fusing boys for like part one. That's about
Mm-hmm.
it. That's easily his best comp right now. But even with that, like he's blast based, so he doesn't fit like like a glove on there either. So it's a matter of where there isn't really a clear cut home that he can like feel dominant on per
Mm-hmm.
se. And even then, like there isn't really a need to like bring him honestly because the only green that was a problem was Ultra Gohan, and now with him essentially being told to you
Fuck
know
off.
Fuck off,
pretty
yeah.
much yeah go pound sand. I mean there's not really a strong need to like run him. And even then, like if we're gonna compare purples here, like why would you not just use G4 at this point? Because he's just way more effective in comparison. So it's a matter of where, for me, like there's no way I can slice it where I think he makes the cut for top five. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I can see that. Do you agree with that, Glow?
Yeah, it's kind of the reason I have him at 5 is mostly because he himself can still hit hard, but his main thing is that he like his teams defensively are such a massive liability now that like he can't tank. And I know there was some people when I posted my trailer to be like, "Oh, Alton can tank." I'm like, "Nigga, stop lying."
Hmm.
Like, be for fucking real with yourself. You're saying, "Oh, he's tanking." That's a 5-star UG4, you have a 14-star Ultra Gohan. What is going on? He's like, oh, I'm tanking. I'm like, bro, you went from 100 to 1 because you're not healing now. You lost all. He has a health restore debuff. You getting the buff removal and surviving to 1 HP is not tanking. You survive by the grace of God, my nigga.
Hmm.
You survive by the grace of God. It's like he still has his shenanigans, but like the big thing about UG42 in this gauge is that he essentially says fuck off to the whole sniping ult that UI and Gohan can do. Gohan can't do his ult pop main and then ult because you can't even hit UG4 on a PV.
It's crazy. Well,
So
okay.
also Majin Buu Saga is dead. That team is dead.
It's officially
I'm
dead
thanking
now?
God that I ran their ass and proud just before they fell off, bro. Oh my God, that was the
Oh yeah.
funniest God rank grind of all time. But it's like you just said, you just can't
No.
use them now.
UG4 just mollywops that team. Eats through him.
Wow. Yeah, because that Evil Boo, he has a pretty good kit, but
It
now
pisses me
doesn't
the
matter.
fuck off that he's dead now, dude. I loved using him.
I mean, you could still use him. It
No,
just
you can't.
you
No, you can't.
just gotta have to watch out. But from 4 to up, I don't think we need to spend too much time because it's pretty much the same, right? Except you having Gogeta Blue at what 4 and
I do, yeah.
Zamasu
Yeah.
at 3. But other than that, it's pretty much the same. So we'll see how this meta evolves as the day goes by. Because we're only in day 2, right? So there could be plenty of things to drop between now and into the 6th anniversary ends that could potentially shift the meta into a particular tag's favor. So we'll see how that goes. I won't hold my breath on that just because of how oppressive this Ultra Gogeta is. But again, we will see what the team comps look like and see, if he is truly star dependent or, this is the new normal. Now on
Yeah.
the Dragon Ball related news, Dragon Ball is making a return to Comic Con in 2024 this year at San Diego, California. So if there's anyone that's there that wants to, check out their panel and see what's going there, I know the Dragon Ball Daima kind of has gone silent. Haven't heard much with that, but hey, there might be some information or inkling information there. Dokkan's 9th anniversary is also dropped. I believe that's live, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yup.
So a lot of people are going in on that, which makes perfect sense on why the 6th anniversary is ending at this point, which I mean, it happens every year. So you Dokkan players, I hope you guys are having great luck on your summons and you can keep up with that. Are any of you guys playing Dokkan?
I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah,
I'm still farming stones. I'm coming back to Dokkan after retiring for a bit.
I was taking a little break off of Dokkan, like since the beginning of 2024, because uh, Global Dokkan at the beginning of 2024 was just not it.
And they changed it now to where it's both synced and they're both releasing at the same
That's
time,
not
right?
happened yet. That's not happened
Oh,
yet.
all
But
right.
like, especially if you compare the releases on both versions of the game at the time, like Global was getting like some of the most mid shit like ever, some of the worst releases ever.
Wow.
Like the most boring releases ever, and then you see fucking JP get fucking LR Beast, who gaps the entire game.
Wow.
It felt like the epitome of like that meme with like Squidward watching SpongeBob and Patrick outside, bro.
It really was. It's because of that I didn't have a ton of stones going into the anniversary.
I just don't like the Dokkan community.
Yeah, that's fair.
Damn. What's wrong with their community? Well, we
I'm,
won't shed no toxic on the pod. Matter of
man,
fact, go.
nah. I played Dokkan since
Zed. Oh, it's in my throat. I'm sorry, man.
no, I've played Dokkan since day one. Like I remember when it first dropped on Global because of Rhyme. I was in like middle school, high school. I saw a Rhyme video. That's how I found about Rhyme. I was like, oh, this is dope as hell. Let me play this game. I used to wail on Dokkan, bro. Third Annie, I spent $1,000, bro.
God
At
Jeez.
damn.
minimum. I spent 1,000 on third Annie. I think I spent like 300 on second Annie, bro. I stopped wailing after like fifth Annie. But like the Dokkan community used to be so like real chill. Like used to be able to have conversations, disagreements, but it used to be chill. You used to be able to see each other's points. Now, y'all niggas just be saying stupid shit. Y'all just be saying rage bait and shit you don't even believe.
Wow,
And I'm like, bro, y'all just like. I saw someone getting death threats over a take. I'm like, yeah, y'all niggas weird.
that's crazy. Yeah, it's. I'm sorry, Dokkan community. If y'all like that, you stay over there. I don't want to. I don't want to have to deal with any of that. I mean, I haven't dealt with anything like that in Legends. Like it's been peace and love. I mean, there's been some crazy hot takes, but peace and love all around. I'll take that any day. But outside of Dragon Ball related news, there's been some data mining as well related to Kakarot, the Dragon Ball RPG game. There's supposed to be some potential new DLC that's going to be dropping at some point this year, so definitely keep a lookout on that. But that is it for this week's episode. Again, you can follow our social media accounts on the description for this week's episode. Also, Glow is hosting a event for the 3rd anniversary, so definitely click his link and check on how you're able to enter, so you're able to get some of that sweet cash. And then again, if you guys want to just follow us on Twitch as well, Glow streams time to time. I stream occasionally as well. You have to check us online and just say what's up. But outside of that, that is it for today's episode, and I hope you all have a fantastic week.
See ya.
See y'all.
See you.